So I spent at least $5,000 going through some of the best agency courses out there. And unfortunately, I didn't get much results. And when I say I didn't get much results, I mean I booked 3 meetings in 3 years and signed 0 clients during that time. And then obviously something changed that allowed me to start growing. And I will get into that. But first, I just want to quickly talk about why I didn't do well in the beginning, because there's so many of you right now searching to find the best courses out there and going through one course and like, oh, I need more information. So you go into the next course and then you need more and then you go into the next course. And I was in this cycle too. So I want to be very transparent. That's why I've literally, this is free-handed video, no tripod today. I just want to get off my chest and explain my story for those of you that don't know, but most importantly, why it didn't work and what I changed to make it work. So I started my agency back in 2017. I'm not going to mention a lot of the courses that I bought today because they're all good in their own right. But I bought the big ones that were really big in 2017 by the biggest influencers. Then some of the smaller guys. Then a new guy kind of popped up. You guys will know who I'm talking about. And he's really, really grown over the past few years or so. I bought his first course and then his second course and then his third, but that was a different decision. But the point is, I bought loads of these courses, a lot of 997 courses back in the day, some a little bit more, some cheaper ones as well. So I've been through as many as you can probably count, right? And the situation that I was in back then is that I didn't know anything about business. I was just starting out. I was frustrated at the idea of working a job my whole life. I didn't go to university. I was in basically high school in the UK and, was doing, school wasn't for me. Like I wasn't hitting the mark. So I knew that going to university wasn't an option. I knew from a very, very early age that I was entrepreneurial, maybe from when I was around 13, 14. And then when I was 16, I learned about marketing, and then when I was 17, 2017, that's when I'll say Tai Lopez was the first course that I bought. I'll put that out there because he was massive at the time, okay? And then I went through his course, and what I felt like was, and it may have changed by now, again, I don't want to talk too much about the courses, but I felt like it gave me a lot of theory, but not a lot of like practical information at the time. So I felt like really what I needed was experience. But for some reason back then, I felt like that practical information I was after would just be in another course. So I went ahead and I bought another one. And then this one completely flipped everything around in terms of what Tai was teaching. He was teaching one module, and then this next person just completely changed it. And honestly, that module was a lot better. So I learned something new then. I went through that one and I had a better approach at building a business. But because I was coming from this beginner perspective, I was entrepreneurial by nature, but I didn't really know what I was doing, especially not marketing. It's my first experience. I was very overwhelmed by the information. And part of that overwhelming made me feel like I needed to learn everything. I needed every piece of information that I could find to feel confident enough to get out there. Now, of course, like most of you get giving a script, an outreach script, and you're like, okay, great, let me put this to the market. So I believe I probably booked my first, when I got the second course, I probably booked my first meeting within a couple of weeks, but it was with a family friend. I kind of reached out, I don't know how I did it at the time, but I somehow reached out to this dentist and was like, hey, I'm looking to help dentists with their marketing. Can I have a meeting? We had a meeting. She was like, no, I don't see the value, right? So I was very discouraged. That kind of pushed me off for a long time. But the big part here is that when that happened, when I came away from that meeting, instead of me sitting down and thinking to myself, like, I need to improve my framework. I didn't even really have a framework for these in-person sessions, believe it or not, back then. I didn't even have a framework. I just went to a dental practice and didn't really get anywhere. Now, the big thing that I'm starting with here is being overwhelmed by the content, and thereby thinking that you need to learn more and more and more. So I was in this perpetual cycle and loop that I couldn't get out of of just learning to fill this gap. I felt like I needed to fill this gap, like I just needed to learn more. And I blame many things, but the biggest thing that I know was a mistake for mine is I was looking at real life and building a business just like I was taught in school. In school, you're taught a bunch of information and they say, like, you've got to learn, like, this is a book. If you learn all of this stuff, you'll be successful in your exams. So I think I took that into business as well. And I was like, okay, if I learn all of the stuff, then I'm going to be successful in business. That's how I thought this worked. So I took the course and then I was like, there's some missing. So then I took the next course and then I was like, okay, that's enough for me to go and get my first meeting. I got my first meeting, but there wasn't enough in sales. So now I'm like, oh, I need another course that will go deeper in the sales. So then I bought another course and another and another. And again, it turns into this perpetual loop. The truth to it is you learn so much more by just taking action, by just doing the thing, right? If I had just kept doing the outreach, pushing through my fears, pushing through the discomfort, and going like back then people were teaching door to door. It wasn't even like, hey, do cold calling. There was actually a bit of cold calling, to be fair, but it was a lot of do door to door, then do a bit of email, a bit of cold calling, that type of thing. So it's like literally day one when this stuff was like kind of starting out. So I'm out there now. What would have helped me is to get the practical experience. It's just doing the thing, just like going door to door, doing the outreach, but it was too painful. And I hid behind this pain by saying to myself, you just need more information. If you get more information, you'll be good. But that's not the case. Like, that's not how this game works. That's not how real life works. It's not more information and then suddenly get a test at the end of the year. It's not how it works. It's you learn a bit, then you go and you give it a try. You go and practice the thing, a real solid attempt at making that thing work. And when it doesn't work, you sit back and you look at it and be like, oh, why didn't that work for me? And retrospectively, what I should have done after that session is one of two things. Firstly, just sat down by myself and figured out, okay, if somebody says at the end, I don't think this is valuable, how should I handle that, right? Or maybe I should have looked into a specific sales training, maybe would have helped me then, because my issue at that point, although I only had one experience of it, but my issue at that point was nothing to do with anything else that I had done. It was the fact that I didn't know how to handle, I don't feel like this is valuable, right? But again, I just felt like I needed to learn everything once more and really stack all of this information, which just turned into a massive waste of honestly time and energy more than anything. I don't actually consider it a waste because I learned a lot, especially the money. I don't consider that a waste. I've blown so much more, but believe me, it's part of the entrepreneurial spirit. If you're in the same situation, you're like, I want more courses. If you're coming from the perspective of, I need more information, this isn't going to work for you. That approach, you need to let go, and you're going to let go sooner rather than later, hopefully, by me putting this video out there, okay? So really what I'm saying is that you're going to learn more by taking action. You got to just take action. You're never going to learn everything, so don't try. It's not going to happen. What you need to do is learn a little bit, implement it, see how it goes, consistently implement the things that you learn for extended period of time. And if it doesn't work after a month or two, fine. Go and figure out what about that thing isn't working and focus on that one thing and fix that one thing. And once that one thing is fixed, move on to the next step. That is how you succeed in this. I realized, and I wrote a couple notes if I look to the side. I wrote here that stupid people win quicker than smart ones. I had this insecurity from my school days because in school I was told that I wasn't smart. So I had this insecurity that I wanted to be smart. So that was part of my reason to just acquire as much knowledge as possible. And honestly, it worked out pretty well because I'm pretty smart these days. But because I was fueled by this insecurity, I just felt like I needed more and more and more. And I didn't actually need more. I just needed to put stuff into practice. The guys that are, for lack of a better word, stupid, you know, and what I mean by that is that they're actually smart because they don't question themselves. They get some information. They're just like, I'm not calling you guys stupid. I'm just saying, like, for those of you that can just follow things without questioning it, you'll probably do pretty well. But that's not what entrepreneurship's about. Entrepreneurs generally question things. They break the rules and they do things differently. So there's a bit of a mismatch there between being an entrepreneur and actually succeeding as an entrepreneur. Is that you've got to sometimes understand that you have no idea what you're doing, and that's the point. That's the point, because it's getting out of the comfort zone that creates the growth that you're after, right? You don't learn everything and then suddenly you're like, oh yeah, I've got this all covered now. No. Not how it works. I'm still breaking beliefs to this day. Like I'm still to this day, now obviously my paradigm, the way that I view the world and the way that I view myself and my beliefs and everything is completely different, which is why I'm doing pretty okay these days. But it comes from the fact that I went through all of this and I realized at some point, hey, Reece, if you had just been stupid and just followed dumbly, you would be so far ahead than where you are now. Because what happened is I wanted to learn more and more and more, and that paralyzed my growth. That stopped me from growing, and that really, really affected my growth curve and really slowed me down for many, many years. So what changed it for me? It was pretty simple. I realized that courses wasn't the option. Sorry for that. My finger was in the way. I realized that learning information wasn't the thing I needed. What I needed was a very clear plan. I needed somebody to sit down with, build out a plan, take that plan, and follow that plan. And again, when the plan goes wrong, I can go to this person and I can be like, hey, the plan went wrong. Can you help me out? And they would help me fix it. So what I ended up doing in 2020 is partnering up with a friend of mine. He acted as a mentor. I did some work for him. It was like a value exchange. I did some work for him. In return, he helped me. He gave me his system. He gave me his system to getting clients. And this time, Reece was stupid in a good way. This time, Reece said, you know what? I don't know better than this person. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to follow everything they say. And I did that. I got my first client within, I want to say within weeks. It probably was within weeks, but I don't know the exact timeline. It was in a short period of time that I got my first client. Then I think there was a bit of maybe that I got my second one, maybe like a month or two later, and then my third. So my first client was like 400 USD. My second client, I charged them like, I think it was like 1.5 or 2K for a funnel and another 1.5 for Facebook ads. And I didn't really have much experience at that point of doing either of those two things. But I knew one thing. I would learn more from experience than I would learn from courses. And that's the lesson that I'm giving you today. Not that the courses are bad, but the fact that you need to implement the things that you learn, otherwise you won't actually get anywhere. So what changed it for me? Getting a mentor, somebody that I could actually speak with, build out a one-on-one plan together that was personalized for my situation, get fixes in real time. If I was struck, I would send him a message, be like, hey bro, this isn't working for me. Can you help me out? And then he would help me out. And then I learned. And I learned through practical experience and through the one-on-one coaching that I was receiving. Now, it's beginning to sound a little bit like a VSL, and it's going to be now because of the experience that I had receiving the one-on-one. I believe in it a lot, and I understand how important that is. Which brings me into my pitch. If you're an agency owner and you're looking for a more consistent and predictable flow of sales calls and clients for your agency, click the first link in the description below. It is an opportunity for you to work one-on-one with me, get access to all of our proven systems, everything that we've got, and for me to guarantee that you will grow your agency and you will get clients. So click the link. It will explain that in a little bit more detail and tell you more about how I could potentially help you. Everything that I've said in this video is 100% honest and truthful, especially the fact that I wouldn't have done it if I didn't just decide to sign up with some guy and get a proven plan from him. And that's why I don't care if you click the link below or if you go to somebody else that you know and you get help from them. I don't care. I just hope that you start taking more action instead of thinking that you need more information, because more information, the more information that you probably need comes from practical experience. Okay? You can only get that by taking action. So click the link down below if you'd like to work with me one-on-one. If not, that's totally fine. Click the subscribe button instead, and you can stay up to date with these videos that I create for free to help you make more money with your agency. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in the next one.